An absolute wave of anxiety is rippling through the York family right now. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are facing a silent nightmare. Word has leaked that their own mother is in secret negotiations for an explosive, life-altering broadcast deal, one backed by a massive, jaw-dropping sum of money. But while Sarah Ferguson looks toward a high-stakes payday, her daughters know that opening up the past could unravel the fragile lives they have built. Every contract clause, every untold story, and every hidden detail threatens to unleash a firestorm that could cost the sisters everything. Make sure you watch this video until the very end, because the real reason behind the princess's terror goes far deeper than just public embarrassment. If you love Stay Ahead, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It takes a second. Imagine having everything you once knew completely ripped away. No official titles, no royal security, zero patronages, and no remaining connection to the charities that used to give you a purpose. That is the exact reality Sarah Ferguson is staring at right now. When you are backed so far into a corner that you have nothing left to lose, you start looking for the fastest escape route. And for Sarah, that means putting her entire life up for sale to the highest bidder. Right now, executive producer suites at two major streaming giants are turning into bidding war command centers. According to a senior production source who spoke directly to the Sunday Express, Netflix is sitting right at the front of that line, actively competing against rival studios to lock down a project that could easily command a staggering multi-million-dollar paycheck. An unnamed third party is quietly acting on Sarah's behalf, negotiating terms and driving up the price. And the pitch isn't just a friendly look back at her past, it is an unrestricted, fully exposed life story. For nearly a year, Sarah kept a low profile, staying almost entirely silent after her name resurfaced in unsealed court documents tied to Jeffrey Epstein. While many assumed she was hiding away to avoid making waves, insiders are painting a very different picture. She was gathering her strength, waiting for the right moment to reclaim her narrative before anyone else wrote it for her. She wants to lay out her personal timeline, address her past financial stumbles, and directly confront her connection to Epstein on her own terms. Studio heads aren't throwing around massive fortunes for soft questions or carefully rehearsed answers. They want raw emotion, total disclosure, and every unscripted detail. That exact hunger is why industry veterans are warning that this production could turn into absolute dynamite. A senior studio source admitted that if these negotiations wrap up smoothly, the final release will prove just as sensational and painfully embarrassing as Harry and Meghan's explosive sit-down with Oprah Winfrey. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams put it even more bluntly when breaking down Sarah's sudden move. He pointed out that Sarah has been totally disgraced alongside her former husband, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Because no major charity wants links with her anymore, she essentially holds zero loyalty to the institutional machine. She has literally nothing left to lose by telling all. The financial motivation behind this move is blindingly simple. Off the official royal payroll, maintaining a high-profile lifestyle requires serious money. A massive streaming paycheck offers Sarah financial independence and a public platform to tell her side. But getting that check means handing over the kind of secrets that could burn down whatever fragile peace remains around her family. She sees this high-stakes gamble as her ultimate shot at redemption. But for her two daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, that giant paycheck looks like a catastrophe waiting to happen, and the sheer panic setting in between the two sisters is about to reach a boiling point. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are living in absolute dread right now. They know better than anyone what happens when their parents step in front of a camera, and this time, the emotional and financial collateral damage could ruin them permanently. For years, the two sisters worked tirelessly to build clean, respectable, and independent lives. Beatrice carved out her position as a corporate vice president, while Eugenie built a respected career as a director in the art world. They started families, secured private patronages, and slowly carved out a stable, dignified place for themselves inside the modern royal fold. But every single time their mother or father makes international headlines, that hard-earned respect gets dragged right back through the mud. Now, with news leaking that Sarah is actively weighing massive $1.75 million bids from US streaming executives and major UK producers, the sisters are watching their worst nightmare play out in real time. Former BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond didn't hold back when assessing the mood inside the family, warning that Beatrice and Eugenie would be in absolute despair if this production moves forward. The terror keeping them up at night isn't just about general public humiliation, it is intensely personal. Over the years, the sisters served as Sarah's primary emotional lifeline through endless public scandals. They shared private calls, personal text messages, and quiet advice when Sarah was at her lowest points. That deep bond has created a dangerous trap. If Sarah agrees to a completely unedited, tell-all format to clear her name regarding her past ties to Jeffrey Epstein, how many of those intimate family moments will end up on screen? Royal reporter Jasmine Carey highlighted the chilling reality facing the sisters. They are terrified that their mother might accidentally or intentionally use her proximity to them to show she still has an inside track to the royal inner circle. Every mention of their names, every leaked piece of advice, and every private conversation dragged into a streaming special risks, making them look like accomplices to the chaos. Royal expert Richard Fitzwilliams pointed out that reports of this project strike genuine panic straight into the hearts of both daughters. Because Sarah has been stripped of her charity patronages and cast out into social exile, she operates with total independence. She isn't asking the palace for clearance, and she isn't asking her daughters for permission. Even worse, Jenny Bond warned that if Sarah proceeds with this tell-all, it could force Beatrice and Eugenie to make an impossible choice: protect their mother or cut her off completely to save their own standing. But their mother's public reputation isn't the only thing threatening to crush the sisters' lives, because while Sarah is chasing a massive $1.75 million payday to cover her mounting bills, her actions are actively putting Beatrice and Eugenie's physical homes, royal funding, and personal safety net on the chopping block. One wrong word from Sarah Ferguson could instantly evict her daughters and leave them paying millions out of their own pockets. Right now, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie aren't just fighting for their family name, they are literally fighting to keep the roofs over their heads. People often forget how delicate their situation really is. Beatrice and Eugenie aren't full-time working royals carrying out daily duties on the public dime. They have to manage their own private careers and balance their own budgets. But when it comes to their expensive London residences, they rely heavily on one critical lifeline: King Charles III. Currently, King Charles personally covers the rent for Beatrice's official home base at St. James's Palace. He also quietly handles the financial support for Eugenie's residence at Ivy Cottage on the Kensington Palace grounds. It is a generous, quiet setup designed to keep the sisters secure. But that entire financial safety net comes with one massive, unwritten rule: don't embarrass the crown. If Sarah goes ahead with this tell-all documentary, she risks destroying that delicate arrangement in a matter of seconds. Royal veteran Richard Fitzwilliams pointed out that King Charles has always been fond of his nieces, choosing to protect them even as their parents faced public disgrace. But royal generosity has very strict limits. If Sarah unleashes a wave of sensational details that drags the family back into headlines, the king may feel he has no choice but to cut the cord. Think about what that means for Beatrice and Eugenie. Losing their palace bases wouldn't just be an expensive financial hit, it would mark a permanent ejection from the heart of royal life. They would be forced to pay astronomical market rates out of pocket or pack up and leave altogether. The pressure mounting on these two sisters is becoming completely unbearable. They are caught directly in the crossfire between their mother's relentless hunt for cash and their uncle's strict financial control. But the terrifying truth is, Sarah isn't just threatening their homes, she is about to unleash secrets that no amount of money or royal protection can ever cover up. Sarah Ferguson has officially become the ultimate wildcard. When someone loses their official role, their charity ties, and their public standing, the usual rules no longer apply. Right now, there is zero institutional filter left to stop her from talking. Industry insiders know that streaming platforms aren't dropping massive multi-million-dollar checks for polite chit-chat. They want raw, sensational stories. They want the real details about her years alongside Andrew, the financial meltdowns, and the full story behind those unsealed files that dominated the headlines. Production sources already warn that the final cut could easily match or completely overshadow Harry and Meghan's famous sit-down with Oprah. What makes this so volatile is that nobody can predict where she will draw the line. Will she stick to her own personal battles, or will she drop unexpected claims about senior royals to keep the ratings sky high? A documentary of this scale depends entirely on dramatic reveals, and executives will be pushing her to dig as deep as possible. Sarah might believe this tell-all is her last big shot to reclaim her independence and pay off her lingering debts. But holding a live mic when you are desperate for cash is a dangerous game. And as production talks press forward, the growing rift between Sarah and her immediate family is pushing everyone straight toward a point of no return. The York family is standing directly on a razor's edge, and this time, blood might not be thicker than water. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are facing a brutal choice that could permanently shatter their personal relationship with their mother. For years, the sisters walked an impossible tightrope. They stayed fiercely devoted to Sarah Ferguson, acting as her ultimate support system through endless public fallout, bad press, and financial meltdowns. At the same time, they worked overtime to protect their own reputations within the royal fold. But this streaming deal pushes that loyalty past its absolute limit. If Sarah signs that high-stakes contract, Beatrice and Eugenie simply cannot stay neutral anymore. They will be forced to make a gut-wrenching decision, stand by their mother, or cut ties to protect their own children's future. Private conversations between Sarah and her daughters have reached an unbelievable level of tension. Insiders reveal that Beatrice, who has always acted as the practical problem solver of the family, has been pleading with Sarah to pull the plug on these studio negotiations. Eugenie, who spends a significant amount of time living between the UK and Portugal, is equally horrified at the prospect of another round of global media scrutiny. The sisters are begging her to consider the long-term emotional damage. They are trying to make her see that a quick financial fix today will cost the family far more tomorrow. However, Sarah's mindset is completely consumed by immediate survival. She feels backed into a corner by rising expenses, zero charity income, and a total lack of official financial backing. In her eyes, taking this streaming check isn't an act of betrayal. It's her only realistic option to pay off lingering debts and maintain her independence. When a mother's desperation for financial security clashes directly with her daughter's need for stability, the resulting fallout is devastating. Look at the psychological toll this is taking on both young princesses. If Beatrice and Eugenie choose to publicly distance themselves from Sarah to stay in King Charles's good graces, they betray the mother who raised them and relied on them for years. But if they stay silent and support her, they risk looking like they approved of every explosive claim Sarah makes on screen. That association alone could destroy their access to royal events, damage their private business careers, and spark a public backlash that follows them for the rest of their lives. This goes far beyond media coverage or public relations strategies. This is a complete family breakdown happening in real time. Beatrice and Eugenie are watching the mother they fought so hard to protect, prepared to burn down the remaining bridges around them. What do you think about Sarah Ferguson's potential tell-all documentary? Is she right to try to clear her name and secure her financial future, or should she protect Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie by keeping quiet? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.